I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready on the chat. Come on, let's burn this chat today. Let's say I'm ready to learn these 5 steps in the next 10 minutes. Super. Manisha, it would just not just be super, it would be super awesome. Ready to learn, ready to learn, ready to learn. As in Bhagavad Gita, it is said, knowledge is like fire. If you enter it, you will exit it, but your form would change. If you are solid, you will become ash. If you're ice, you will become water. Something like that. Your entire perspective of things would change. Thank you so much, Akhilesh, Bhavin, Vishal, to be ready now. Now I'm gonna let you know 5 ways how effectively you can interact with the millennials. So the first way, how you should use this as a tool for networking and creating your circle of all the successful people in this world. One thing that all the successful people want, the first step is never use or in your sentence anymore. आज से इंग्लिश बात करते वक्त इसके अलावा या और in the sentence use करना बंद करिए. No one from today in their sentences while communicating to your clients, your future customer prospect will use the word or. You should always use the word and not or. I'll give you an example how much difference it makes. Okay. Like for example, if someone tells you that I want to run my business in this scale and I want to have this kind of progress in the next year, you cannot start the sentence by saying, or you can think in this direction so that your business progresses more. If you do that, millennials will not understand you. You have to use the word and. So for this particular sentence, you could say, and I really feel that whatever you are saying is right. And I really want you to concentrate on this so that you can take this step. Because whenever you say or, it gives an alternate route to what their goals, their ambition is. And when you use the word and, it makes sure that their goal is intact and you also kind of trying to give your perspective. Does that make sense, guys? In the chat, I want to write. I want you to write. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. This is a small transformation that you should do in your language when you have stopped using the word or this. Rather use this and this. Come on, you say yes. This makes sense. This makes sense. I want you to write down. Every word has a significance. Yes, every word has a significance. And if you stop use the word or, I'm telling you, there are a lot of people will hear you. Why? Because now you're not only aligning with their goals, you're also making sure that you can give them suggestion. So from today onwards, whenever you try to speak anything, you have to stop using or and you have to start using and. Just have a look at your website. Just have a look at your pamphlet. If you're using or a lot of time, stop doing that. Okay. Revise the sentence by saying and, because that really adds a lot of benefit and lot of what's in it for me in your sentence. Why does this work? Never use the word or, always use the word and. Why this works? This works because millennials have their own value structures. And with their value structures, they really want to give more to the people rather than giving this or this. No, I want to give everything to people. So it just aligns the sentence with and, just aligns with their value structure. And that's why it is very important to use and in the sentence and not or. Now, second, most important thing that you need to take care is always ask questions. Because when you ask questions, what happens is that you show your process to progress. Every time, do not never hesitate to ask questions. Second, and the most important tip to you to make sure that you can really get all attention of a millennial is that you should ask questions on your website as well. Okay, on your web content as well, social content. Start with the question: how to do this? Whenever you ask question, you are more likely to get some kind of suggestion, some kind of answers from them. And whenever you meet leaders which are millennials, always ask questions. This is very important. People who are right now working on job and they say that, I am really stuck in a job and I'm not really progressing. You know what? You should ask questions, structured questions to your boss. Sit with your boss, get his time, and say that, you know what, boss, I really want 5 minutes of yours. I am doing so much work, but I don't think so. My progress is happening, neither my promotion is happening, neither my salary increase is happening. What I'm proposing is that, is it possible for me to do these kind of job, these kind of activities, so that I can get next year I get promoted to this and my salary gets hiked this. If I achieve this, is this possible? These type of questions can add a lot of process to progress, and millennials love that. Second example is of clients. The client is giving, like, for example, some business to you, like 200 to $2,000 business in a month to you, and you really feel that that client can give you more. You have to ask them, can I have time with you for 5 minutes? I really want to discuss on some topics. I am doing this much things for you. I am doing these kind of activities for you. I really wanted your thing to progress, but I don't think so that progress is really visible, because right now I can only mint approximately $200 of revenue from you. I really want this to go to $4,000 or $5,000. You can let me know what I should do more for you so that I can get there. I'm telling you, this works so well that if the client has even a single percent of business that he can outsource to someone else, he will rather choose you than anyone else. And this becomes very important for you to communicate to the millennials by asking questions. But your questions should always have process to progress and nothing else. So you should always have a process to progress, that I have done this, I am doing this, these are all the activities that I did, but and I really want these guys to do these things to be done in the next quarter, in the next 6 months for you. But do you think that this will help your business, and you would be obviously sharing more money to me so that I can do that? I'm telling you, this will work. And the reason why this works every time with the millennials is because millennials always try to think themselves as leaders, and leaders always need leadership opportunity, the opportunity that they become right by something, and they don't miss an opportunity, they don't critically fail at something, right? Leaders like failing, but they don't want to fail. There's difference. They like failing and trying something new, but they don't really want to fail, because they want to be good at a lot of things, and they know that they are not good at all of things. So what they do is that they try to take decisions on the basis of the questions that you ask. So a boss, if listens to an employee that, I have done this thing, I have done this activity, what should I do for promoting myself, would instantly say that, you know what, the reason why you couldn't get a promotion is because you couldn't do this, you couldn't do this. Do you think that in the next year you could complete this activity? If you could complete this activity, the promotion is yours. It makes them instantly a leader in that particular communication, and that's why they like questions. Okay, so the second and the most the thing that will make sure that your product, your service, and your stuff, and even if you're an employee or even if you're an entrepreneur, both way it works, will help you is asking questions. If there is one coffee brand that I was working with, and one thing that really worked for that coffee brand and it became successful was because the initial customers that they got on Amazon, they went ahead, the founder himself went ahead and called all the customers and asked the question, there were so many coffee brands on Amazon, why did you really choose my coffee? And then the customers tried to answer, the reason why I really tried your coffee was because I really found that there was something new. So why, what did you find something new? And the customer said that I really liked your campaign, which says that, you refresh early in the morning by having this coffee, and you will be helping me in my exercise routine. After that, they spent reasonable amount on the campaign where it says that it increases stamina, and that coffee brand became very successful coffee brand in India. This is not because just of my consulting or just because I was connected with them. This is because they heard millennials. And so do you think that asking questions will really help your business also, get there? Say yes. Asking questions will definitely have my business or my career in a very progress path. Say yes. Say yes in the chat. Lovely. Are you learning? Are you learning through this session? Say yes, I am learning. Are you learning more? Are you learning about millennials? Are you learning about your own audience all the time, every time? Yes, yes. Yes, dude. Bhavan, high five. Yes, I'm learning new. Manisha, Jayanti. Lovely. Yes. This makes so much difference. And now we will not stop this marathon. We will complete this marathon by completing the rest of the stuff. And thank you so much for your responses on chat. Asking questions. What is the third thing I should do for Make Sure Millennial? Is share feedback. If you look at a millennial making a decision, if you look at a millennial doing a conversation, you have to first appreciate what the person is doing and try to share your own feedback. Now, people say that मेरे पास कोई अच्छा चीज नहीं है बोलने को, मेरे को उसको थोड़ा सा क्रिटिसाइज करना है, चलेगा क्या? मिलेनियल्स को चलता है क्या? आई एम टेलिंग यू, your criticism will work miles, because generally millennials are very open with your own personal views. So, for example, if there is a millennial that gives speech and he comes down and you say, you know what, the speech was awesome, all the audience enjoyed. But you know what, instead of you doing this, if you could do something like this, or you could be less fidgety towards your legs or something like that, or you could use less fillers, your speech would be much better. And that is something that millennial likes. He will always remember you, that you are the person who really gave him feedback and he improved because of you. The reason is because millennials have an entrepreneurial mindset. And that's why it becomes very important for them to have feedback and share feedback with others. So millennials will give you good feedback and millennials will take your feedback. And when they take your feedback, they remember you. And if they remember you, they will do business with you, right? This is the third thing that you should always remember. Always sharing good feedback followed by one small criticism, so that so that they can remember you. Fantastic. We will not stop this marathon. I will tell you fourth thing that is very important, so that you can get attention of all the millennials all around the world, is never here to respond, here to increase your knowledge. Never here to respond, always here to increase your knowledge. Today, You guys are patiently listening to me from last 15 odd minutes. The reason why you can become successful is because you are not hearing me because you want to respond to the sentence. You want to hear because you want to increase your knowledge. And that factor will make you progress and make everyone else, succeed connecting to you, because millennials have inherent ability for social and corporate impact. Like I plant a lot of trees, right? Uh, uh, but I have a social impact and a corporate impact that I want to do. And that is only possible when you stop responding to people because they said something and listen to them like you want to increase your knowledge. And I'm telling you, every time you have this attitude of listening, you will definitely have attitude towards giving good feedback and giving good suggestions to people, which will make sure that you will really have very good impact on millennials. Fifth and the last, I hope that you guys all are jotting down these points. Fifth and the last thing that you should always try to imbibe in yourself before initiating a conversation with a millennial, connecting and networking with the millennial, is that you should always get your story right. Who are you? What is your background? What is your struggle? All these things are very important. You should always get your stories right. I started this presentation by giving you two stories. One about Mark Zuckerberg, and second about Ritesh Agrawal, who started Oyo. Both of them have their stories right. They failed, 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 had an idea, tried to implement, had small success, amplified it, made it big, and made an empire in a very small age. You, as an individual, you as a business, should always have your story right. Your struggles, your effort, and your way towards success and progress should be very clear. People become interesting when they have good stories, good background. And your story before your brand becomes more important in anything else in the conversation. So get your stories right. So today, Saturday, Sunday, you have time. Jot down in the book that you will meditate for 10 to 15 minutes and you will get your story right. Who you are, where you're coming from, what were your struggles, what were limitations that you faced. You can write in the chat saying that I will get my story right. You can just write down story right. You will make sure before you go to the audience, before you kind of start to communicate with people, you have to get your story right. If your story is not correct, if your story has even a single, not really true part of yourself, that eradicate that. Make sure that your story, when you tell to people, is right, is correct, and it's your personal feedback. Because as human beings, we just don't have our styles, our faces are different. And because of those, Our stories are also different. And I want every one of you guys to make sure that have their own stories. So thank you so much, Bhavin, Pranay, Sylvester. I would like to connect with every one of you guys. If you don't have your story right, we can together get our story right and put that story on LinkedIn, on your bio, on anywhere on your social media platform. We have to make sure that we tell the story that everyone wants to listen. We make it interesting. Why? Because it is a personal story and no one else can share it. So all these things, all these 5 things have to be made sure that we really do it well. But even if you know these 5 things, that these are the right way of communication, what do you really think that millennials really love to talk about? Millennials love to talk about all these stories, all these things, because they themselves are very instrument to change. You have to understand the millennial journey, how it started. When they left the college, they tried to do jobs. At that time itself, the 2008 and 2009 recession happened. When millennials were starting their jobs, 2008, 2009, the recession happened. Entire world, entire world had no jobs for them. Then second, what happened was that after millennials were progressing and really doing great job and achieving great heights and everything, the startup culture came into place where millennials actually made this all startup. Then at the peak of the progress of all the millennials, the COVID-19 pandemic happened in 2020. Millennials are very, very, very fond of change. And they accept change in whatever fashion that it comes. Let that be demonetization, let that be changing of online marketing, let that be anything. Millennials are receptive towards change, and that's why their progress keeps on increasing. So what is something that millennials really love to talk about? Millennials love to talk about CAP. CAP in the sense, CAP is a progress. CAP, C-A-P. First C is culture. Where do you come from? How do you survive? What do you do for your living? Tell me something about your family. Tell me something about what cultures do you follow? Tell me what traditions you follow. Millennials love when you start to talk about culture. You might have heard on Shark Tank, let that be $1 billion idea that the picture really gave. But sharks are really interested on, where do you come from? Tell me something about yourself. Tell me about your background. Why? Because they appreciate culture. Second is ambition. This is my culture. This is my ambition. I want to go here. This is my future. This is where I see myself. Millennials want to listen to you when you talk about culture, that is your background, and you talk about ambition, that is you want to reach there. I'm coming from here, I'm reaching there. Now how will I progress and go there? Always your communication has to be distributed in these 3 aspects. This is my culture, this is my ambition, and this is my path to progress. If you do that, friends, I'm telling you, you will have attention of all the decision makers in the business, all the decision makers that is your customers, all the decision makers that want to pay you for their services. You will get their attention if you distribute your website, your pamphlet in the basis of your background, your story, your goal, and your progress path. Be very open about what you want to do. If you really think that through this, I'm going to earn this much, put it forward. And these three pillars become very important. So what I did in my life is, I as soon as I came to know, as soon as I understood the pattern that millennials are going through, I drilled all my thoughts and made sure that I write a structured book on buffering to streaming. That is the guide to millennial mindset. I wrote this book, and today, I mean, I'm really happy to announce that I have more than 9,000 copies sold in less than couple of months. But I really drill down all the topics, everything, so that everyone can know what kind of millennial mindset is there, and not just from the communication perspective, but also from foundation. How did they came, and entire generation of getting floppy to VCR to CD to pen drive to cell phone to cloud today, that we handle our entire cell phones and everything, and internet and social media. How did this entire millennial generation help that entire change? I've written this book, Buffering to Streaming. And what I really say is that every person, every one copy that I sell of this book, I plant one sapling and make that a tree, so that I give to the environment, to the oxygen intake of all the people. So if you want the copy of the book anywhere from Amazon or from Flipkart, it's available both the places. You can find the links of Amazon, Flipkart, or publisher on kunaaldevmane.com/BTS. You can definitely go there and order a copy, and please let me know the feedback about your. And second is, so you learned about how to communicate with the millennials. Now I'm telling you, I drilled down all my thoughts. I made sure that I have a lot of examples of a lot of successful people, and made sure that this book is there. Made this book or a structured book around it. And third is, how should we go ahead and progress and keep learning this things about things that are new coming, things that are really changing, because as our Indian cricket team also went till semifinals, and majority of the Indian cricket team are millennials. And all these new things that are happening in millennials, I have really started a small uh, LinkedIn, and that also LinkedIn newsletter. And thank you so much, that it's a great response for the newsletter. I've more than 550 or subscribers there now. And to keep learning this newsletter, I have the Millennial Mindset. You don't have to go ahead and search the internet. You can just go on kunaal.com/newsletter, and you can directly land to a LinkedIn link of this newsletter, where you can go ahead and follow for free. And here, every fortnight, that is once in every 14 odd days, 15 odd days, that is twice in a month, I jot down all the points that are coming new in the millennial generation. Like, for example, one of the millennials, Indian origin, is trying to become the president of United States. And all these upcoming topics that I really see around millennials, and how millennials are progressing and why they are progressing in the first place, I really jot down there. So you can also get those notifications, those copies on your email, so that you can read these things out. And you can be connected through this. Finally, what I would like to tell you guys is, act today to become who you are meant to be. Act today what to become who you are meant to be. If you want to become a successful person, you have to first recognize what you really want to do. Get your story right, get your speech correct. And through this, you will be not just having opportunities of connecting a lot of people, but through this, you will have opportunity to talk to a lot of decision makers who can pay you to have your service, to have your product, because your story makes sense, your product makes sense, your style of working makes sense, and they will never leave you. otherwise. Manjeet, you're looking for previous slide, please. Which one? I'm so sorry. I saw. Are you talking about the book? I'll just in the chat itself. I'll share you the link where you can go ahead and you can go ahead for the book. And book that is it's very simple. It's kunaal.com/bts. If you want a copy of the book. And for every copy of the book, again, I'm telling you, every copy of the book sold, I will plant one sapling, and that sapling will become a tree, and I will make sure that that becomes a tree. We have till date, I have crossed approximately 290,000 trees all across through various campaigns in the last 6 7 years that we are really going ahead and planting trees to a lot of people. So that, and obviously I really want you guys all to subscribe to the newsletter, which is the LinkedIn newsletter, in fact. And you can directly go to this link, and the LinkedIn page will open where you can access the newsletter. And I want you guys to connect, to give me feedback, to make sure that we interact on this topic more and more. We try to be for each other, and we all will make sure that you become who you are meant to be, and not something that you really want to fake and show to the world. Say no. Be who you really uniquely are meant to be. So thank you so much for your time today, Shivani. I hope that I have not taken a lot of time, but I really want this to be now more of a question answer, where I really try to listen to a lot of people and try to get the feedback of a lot of people, or maybe they must have a lot of questions around what they are. So please, the entire forum is open for question answers, so that I can utilize the next 10 15 minutes so that I can answer your question. I hope that you guys have really enjoyed the session. I hope that Saturday morning has become enlightening morning for everyone, you guys. Thank you, Shivani, for inviting me here. And thank you each one of you guys to be such a lovely audience. Come on, now I'm ready for the question answers. Shivani, take it forward.
Thank you, Kunalji, for enlightening our listeners and giving us great points that millennials really want to network with. They want to love to listen and hear about our stories. The CAP concept, it was new for all of us.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for bringing in value to our audience. And the floor is open for questions. So you all guys can unmute one by one or raise hands. So please go ahead one by one.
Yeah, lovely. Shivani, you have any questions? You can start.
Yeah.
Because that's how.
Definitely, our audience wished to know the secrets of networking, and that was the reason I brought you here. And I would also like to um, say that Kunalji is a very good presentation expert as well. He takes sessions on presentation skills, and I hope you all enjoyed the way he presented the small topic into a big learning. So
Thank you.
go
Thank you
ahead,
so much.
Manisha.
my
Thank you,
my, my
Kunalji.
the things that I teach in the PowerPoint skills are free. You can just go ahead, in my masterclass. You can just search masterclass, Kunaal Devmane masterclass, and it's free, so that everyone can learn how to present themselves and everything else. So that presentation skills and everything, that if you've liked how I presented, you can also learn that, and you can also do it in minutes. But you have to
Thank
get
you,
your
Kunal,
story
for
right
inviting
again.
everyone.
Again there. Okay. So Manisha is
Yeah.
raising the hand. So please, Manisha, please go ahead.
Happy morning, sir.
Good morning. Don't call me sir. My name is Kunal.
Happy, Kunal.
Yeah.
I just want to know what was the age exactly when these thoughts hit you? And as you're talking about story in a very 4 5 sentences, please relate yourself personally. I am personally interested to know right now.
Okay, my I was born in 1985 in Diwali, and that obviously made me a millennial. And being at a very small age, I was introduced to computers, right? My school had computers, and before I think so, my four table, the table of four in math started. Before that, introduction of computers were already there, and those computers were bulky, were all were all of that category. But I generally belong to a generation who was introduced to technology very, 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 very early in their life. So changing and making sure that, having cassettes, having CDs, and having everything around that time in 90s, it was it just made sense for our generation to be the most unique generation in the entire category. And we were never defined as generation X, generation Y, generation Z, or something like that. We were always millennials. And what happened was that I really understood that there has to be some pattern around success of people, right? There has to be some pattern. And the reason why people are successful is because they are not hesitant toward experiment. The generation before us was very hesitant towards experiment. And that's why they could not enhance the startup culture. Majority of people graduated in my generation could not do jobs because there was recession, and say, well, there was no other choice but to think out of the box and come up with a business solution and do business ourselves. So, so that's why majority of these entrepreneurs or billionaires or millionaires are millennials, because there was no choice for us to, you know, to get to the next level other than being employed ourselves and taking our decisions, taking our in our own hands. So it just makes sense to understand that what do I really like? If I really write down on a piece of paper 100 things that I like, is something that really, when I networked, I made sure that I, joined a lot of people. I visited a lot of conferences internationally and nationally all over. And I understood that, everyone wants to hear stories. Everyone wants to contribute. Everyone wants to give feedback. And it becomes very overwhelming when you think that, yeah, he's an entrepreneur, he's already successful. Why will he listen to me? I'm telling you, guys, he or she will listen to you. Why? Because you are approaching with a very unique set of skills, and everyone knows that. So if you want to approach any millennial, please make sure that you have a very structured discussion ahead of you when you try to communicate. And communication is everything. So I think so I answered your question, Manisha. But
Thank you so much. Wonderful.
yeah. And you know,
I also share the same date of birth year.
yeah, yeah, obviously that's why you could relate. But I'm telling you, a lot of because whoever is born in the Gen Z category, or next generation Alpha or something like that, they will never know the relation of floppy disk, CDs, and cassettes. They have never seen this. The reason, and so they do not know the evolution of technology. How did this began? In the first place, we have the reason why whenever we have files and when we have folders and everything, because we know that we used to file and folders that we used to have racks on, and that reference would not never be there. And that's why the life of the other generation would be much more simpler than what our lives were, because they will never have the kind of iteration or the kind of recession that we faced in our lives. We will make sure that they will be safer, but the responsibility, but it also comes with a lot of impact that we need to create. So yeah, it's a responsibility. So your progress becomes the responsibility, collective responsibility of everyone.
Thank you, Kunalji.
Yeah.
So anyone else would like to ask questions with Kunalji?
Yes sir,
So
कुणाल
go
सर
ahead.
नमस्कार। कुणाल जी, मेरा क्वेश्चन है कि क्या हम घर से भी अपने मिलियनर बन सकते हैं, मतलब कुछ ऐसा कि हमें कहीं जाना ना पड़े और हम अपनी लोकेशन से ही, क्या हम ऐसा कर सकते हैं? कैसे?
कम्युनिकेशन तो हर एक का बर्थ राइट है, राइट? कि कम्युनिकेट कैसे करें। एक बार अपने को कम्युनिकेशन का टोन मालूम पड़ गया, अभी मैंने आपको जैसे स्ट्रक्चर बताया, राइट? मैंने आपको बताया कि मिलेनियल को क्या अच्छा लगता है, क्या बुरा लगता है, समथिंग लाइक दैट। सो ये सब चीजें बहुत मायने रखती है व्हेन इट कम्स टू आप इनिशिएट कैसे करें। लोग बोलते हैं कि सम पीपल आर वेरी गुड आइस ब्रेकर्स। आइस ब्रेकर्स मतलब वो फटाक से किसी से भी कैसे भी कनेक्ट कर लेते हैं, बात कर लेते हैं, कोई भी स्ट्रेंजर भी हो वो इनिशिएट कर लेते हैं। लेकिन हम समझ नहीं रहे वो कर कैसे रहे, क्योंकि वो ऐसा कुछ इंटरेस्टिंग बात कर रहे हैं जो सामने वाले को सुनना है। और अगर और अगर वैसा कॉन्वर्सेशन करना है तो सबसे पहले सोचना पड़ेगा कि मैं स्टार्ट कैसे करूं, राइट? अगर मैं स्टार्ट अगर मैं स्टार्ट अपने स्टोरी से करूं तो कितने लोग सुनेंगे? नहीं, बहुत लोग नहीं सुनेंगे। क्या मैं स्टार्ट फीडबैक से कर सकता हूँ, या क्या मैं स्टार्ट उनके स्पीच से कर सकता हूँ कि उन्होंने ये पॉइंट रेस किया और मुझे रियली अच्छा लगा, और फिर मैं कनेक्ट कर सकता हूँ कि क्यों मुझे अच्छा लगा, क्योंकि मेरी स्टोरी ये है। और क्या मैं अपना कल्चर और अपना एम्बिशन को साथ में लेके क्या मैं अपनी प्रोग्रेस उनको समझा सकता हूँ। अगर ये स्ट्रक्चर्ड डिस्कशन हो तो ये फ्रेंडशिप जो है, कनेक्शन जो बनता है वो लॉन्ग टर्म चलता है। और बंदे को सो मेरा एक दोस्त है जो इसरो में, ये मंगलयान 3 जब हुआ एंड ऑल दैट, तो मैंने उनका कॉन्वर्सेशन किया था। एंड मेरे ऑफिस में जितने भी मेरी टीम है, मेरा एक छोटा सा बुक क्लब है ऑफिस में, 11-12 मेंबर्स का, जहाँ पे हम एवरी एवरी एक 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 बुक लेते हैं और एवरी वन स्टडीज इट एंड एवरीथिंग। तो उस बुक क्लब को मैंने अपने दोस्त से, जो एक इसरो का साइंटिस्ट है, उससे मिलवाया था। एंड लोग बोलते हैं कि आपका अचानक भयानक एक इसरो साइंटिस्ट से कैसे कनेक्शन हो गया। और ये इसरो साइंटिस्ट एक दूसरे से बात भी करते
Kunal,
हैं, बात भी करते हैं
Kunal
वो
ji,
लोग।
last week, sorry to interrupt you.
या
Last week, I also invited ISRO scientist to our show.
सो ये लोग बात भी करते हैं, ये लोग बहुत बात करते हैं। इनको तो मतलब लेकिन आप कनेक्शन तो करो उनसे, तो कनेक्शन कैसे करते हैं कि वो जो बात कर रहे हैं वो टॉपिक अगर हम कंटिन्यू करें और हम हमारी कल्चर, हमारी स्टोरी से कनेक्ट करें, तो वो ऑटोमेटिकली कॉन्वर्सेशन इनिशिएट हो जाता है। तो नॉट नेसेसरली यू शुड be a millennial in the first place. You should initiate a communication, because effective communication is what will drive your business. At the end of the day, why are we talking? Why are we really making sure that we can discuss all this? Is because everyone has to have a path to tell their story and make money through it, right? And money can only be made by when you give your value to people. अगर आप किसी को वैल्यू नहीं दोगे तो वो आप में इन्वेस्ट नहीं करेगा। वैल्यू देना इंपॉर्टेंट है। तो इसलिए मैंने पीपीटी के सारे सेशंस, मेरे मास्टर क्लास फ्री है, मेरा न्यूज़लेटर भी फ्री है, so that people can get value. If you think that it is valuable, then only you will come back to me and say that you have a feedback, and then with that feedback I'm also going to progress.
Sir, I would like to add something if permitted.
Yeah, please go ahead, Manisha.
Yes, yes.
So, as you use the word value, just 30 years back, I was in a session and I belong to a Marwari Hindu family. And एक समय था कि लड़कियों की शादी जल्दी उम्र में होती थी, तो girls were not supported that much in which environment I used to stay. So in that particular session, जब मैंने सीए डिग्री के बारे में जाना, मैंने उसको थोड़ा सा ड्रिलिंग किया, देन आई अंडरस्टूड कि अगर मैं किचन के अंदर खाना भी बना रही रहूंगी, ऐसी कौन सी डिग्री है कि कहीं मैं साइन करूं तो उसकी वैल्यू रहेगी। ये थॉट मेरा
Very nice.
1993 में आया था, नहीं 90 नहीं 1998 के आसपास आया था। एंड उसके बाद वो चीज थे दिमाग में कि मैं कहीं पर भी हूँ, एक बंद कमरे के अंदर भी रहूंगी, मैं कहीं साइन करती हूँ, उसकी वैल्यू होनी चाहिए। देन दैट सीए डिग्री हैड क्लिक्ड मी एट द एज ऑफ 13 और 14,
Very
and
nice.
very well I am practicing since 13 years, and we are happy family. But वो वैल्यू वाली बात उस समय मुझे स्ट्राइक करी थी। सो एज यू टोल्ड द वर्ड वैल्यू, एंड वो एक डायरी में मैंने लिखा है, वैल्यू ऑफ सिग्नेचर डॉट डॉट डॉट, कितने साल पहले लिखा हुआ था। तो वो वैल्यू वर्ड इज वेरी मच इम्पोर्टेंट इन एवरीवन्स लाइफ। थैंक यू।
Lovely, lovely.
Thank you,
And
Manisha,
it's,
for
it's
adding
such a
this wonderful story.
it's such an inspiring story, Shivani. And
Really.
I'm really touched that people have started, implementing already what is taught about that. Get your story right, and she's just getting it right. And
No, but
Manisha,
good
Very
guys,
true. Very true.
good
Manisha,
guys like
I'm
this
going to
season. I
tell
should
you,
write something for myself.
Manisha, I'm going to tell you one thing for sure. Okay, you are brave. That's for sure. When you are brave, what happens is that whenever life gives you obstacles, you just try to make over exceed the obstacle and try to do something that creates your identity. And as you're rightly saying, that there was a time when, but this at the end of the day, this all comes very external, where, like, I'm 100% sure that females in India have tried to become important after what Kalpana Chawla did. And that wave of women empowerment, okay, really drove everyone mad that one of the women can do that. Why can't my daughter? And that feeling of accepting gender wise that we are not just bound to do some kitchen exercises, we are also here to create an impact towards world, has really made sure that अभी तो women cricket team है, अभी तो हर game में women आ रहे आगे, and all that. And I'm really proud that one of the Asiatic medals also has won by a woman in India. And it just makes a lot of sense. And plus in the speaker forum there is a huge gap. I'm telling you, majority of the speakers are men. We need a lot of women speakers. There is a huge opportunity of women speakers everywhere. And I would and through Shivani, I would like to invite a lot of women and women professional and entrepreneur. There is a very huge conference that will be coming in Mumbai, where a lot of huge dignitaries all over the world would be participating. And I would love a lot of people from this forum also to sort of participate, because that would be a largest networking event ever in India, ever occurred in India. And to create value, we will be giving one-to-one communication opportunities with successful women all over the world. So you can
Great to know this.
so Shivani, if you come, I will make sure that I'll pull you and I'll take you to a successful woman in like Poland or Bulgaria or Netherlands, and you can ask her story. How did she become successful in her company and something like that? So it's going to be that interactive and network oriented function and event.
Sure, Kunalji, do share the details with us.
Yeah. And it would happen in 2024 somewhere around Diwali, but the planning's already going on.
Great to know.
So Manisha, I would love you to be a part of that.
Thank you so much, sir.
So because what happens is that networking can make you go miles, and you will not even understand how fast you grew just because you network with some other people.
One more point I would like to add here. Whenever you are networking with somebody you do not know, always start with the appreciation, because appreciation is something which everyone likes. And once you use the appreciation, then you come on to asking their story. That is the way everyone would like to say their story instead of just listening to your story. So once you start the conversation with this, go ahead and then bring them to where you want. So there's a term in NLP: meet the people where they are and bring them to where you want them to be.
Yeah. Lovely. So Mithun is asking question: Who gave the educate to learn women? I mean, who gave the education? I think so. That question is who really gave education to women? And I'm telling you, from the time donkey ages in India, Indian soil was always very, very equal to women. than anywhere else in the world. And lot of cultures, lot of tradition changed that, because we were invaded by so many so many people in all these years, that really messed the entire fabric of who we really are. And our inbuilt attitude of, letting people get what they deserve is already there. So so I really feel that, who educated women to learn more or something like that is basically our inherent attitude of equalizing people regardless of the gender did that. And obviously the entire world polluted us by invading, but that attitude is again kicking again. So I hope that I've answered you, Mitul.
Definitely, in ancient culture, women were not only just being a homemaker, they were actually in regarded at higher positions, and they were equally respected, and they hold a lot of command. When we read the scriptures and ancient history tales, definitely that was the culture that India prevailed. And it is because of the invaders and the Muslim rulers and the Englishmen who destroyed our culture, and that is what make women a weaker section of the society.
Yeah.
However, it was always that women were always stronger even before the men.
We will use another section where, we can come on LinkedIn Live or something like that, where we can talk about all those mundane all these practices that are meant to make sure that we can oppress women. And actually that was not the foundation of all those uh, black magic and all those andhavishwas and all those, so that they can oppress women. And we will definitely catch on that topic maybe later, because you know so yeah, anyone else have questions? Come on.
Sir, you said culture, ambition, progress. Culture, relevance, I understood more better if a female, especially for a female, I want to relate, अगर उसे अपना ambition को जीतना है, तो जिस बैकग्राउंड से वो आते हैं, जिस ट्रेडिशंस में उनको फिर ढाला जाता है, उसका एक्सेप्टेंस बहुत इजीली कर लेना चाहिए, बिकॉज कल्चर रेलेवेंस उनके लाइफ में तो बहुत ज्यादा होता है.
Yeah.
Now, with culture, if we grow ambition and then we progress together, balancing both of them, then success crown is always there on our head. But ये
Yeah.
realization मुझे after 6-7 years of practice with my family I got. There was a clash where I was wanting my ambition to grow, but I was defeating the culture part. Culture part in sense
Yeah.
like जो भी एक rituals होते हैं in a very depth manner. Then after that उसको क्लैश होते होते मेरा ग्रोथ एम्बिशन हो रहा था, बट दैट वाज वेरी स्लो. बट अगेन व्हेन आई एक्सेप्ट द होल कल्चर कि जैसे जो चाहता है उसको करो, और उसी में से और एम्बिशन को भी ग्रो करना है, तो थिंग्स वर्कड आउट. एंड टुडे आई एम सो मच ओवरलोडेड. आई एम अटेंडिंग शिवानी मैम्स क्लास आल्सो. आई एम डूइंग गीता सेशन. आई एम डूइंग एनएलपी कोर्स. मतलब आई एम नाउ इनटू एवरीथिंग व्हेन आई एम मोस्ट बिजिएस्ट. एंड व्हेन आई वाज 50% free 10 years back, I was not managing things. So I'm very thankful to Shivani ma'am and other sessions that everyone is helping with us. But for family, mein culture is actually important, and how being a male factor, you realize that, and you are putting it in such a head topic ke head pe culture, then ambition, then progress. It's really great to see on face.
Thank you so much to have that perspective. Okay. It is and so when I got that topic of what millennial really love is culture. um, so the reason why I said culture was because is that your background makes a lot of change in entire speech. And your culture, your ambition, and your progress, the structured discussion around that would really make you as a hook for that person to remember you whenever the person wants to do business. That's where I was coming from. But Very nice, very nice. So Mithun says that, Mahatma Phule, Savitribai Phule, Baba Saheb Ambedkar, and all these great names. Pinaki said that highly insightful session, Kunaal. May all your millennial dreams come true. Enjoy your blessings. Thank you so much, Pinaki. I hope that I'm pronouncing your name right, Pinaki.
Yeah, you are pronouncing right.
So Mithun, yes, you're right, but these these names that you took is really the freedom fighting era of Britishers, and we are still going behind like 2000 says 3000 4000 odd years where women were really given equal opportunities already in our culture. Appreciate Kunaal for being supportive for women growth. Obviously, because there is no other way to do it. Women are everywhere. We have to support them, or else they will make us out of business. क्या क्या हम भी एक वुमेन की तरह तेज दिमाग हो सकते हैं? विशाल, we can try definitely, but
Thank you,
you
sir.
you can get there, but
Thank
we can
you,
try.
sir.
but
Never undermine yourself, Vishal.
so one thing that it is observed in the entire natural world, majority of the decisions of other species are taken by females. In an ant colony, the queen, it is always a queen ant. In a bee colony, there is a queen bee. In a wolf pack, there is a queen wolf. In peacocks, the peacock has to grow all the colorful feathers because he has to, impress the peahen, because peahen calls the shot. So so you can understand that every other, species where women are more important than males everywhere. So yeah, so मेरी सिस्टर का दिमाग की मेरी बहुत तेज है. हाँ, yeah. I mean, we are not having a conversation on women empowerment because there is no conversation needed there. They are already empowered. They already they know how they can take things. And
Kunaal, can I ask a question?
Yeah, please go ahead, Narendra.
Yeah, I belong to I think you call it the boomers who have their children as the millennials. Interestingly, my son is just 2 years younger than you. Although I would have loved to talk, for hours and hours with you, but I have boiled it down to one question. I don't know whether my story is correct or not, but I'll try to make it correct. So I boiled it down to this question that how is the millennial generation preparing for the next, I think you call the alpha generation, the next generation?
Yeah, and alpha is born after millennium.
Yeah,
Y is
I
the
mean
Gen Z.
the generation which has come after the millennials.
Gen Zs.
Yeah, Gen Z or maybe the alpha.
Alpha is later.
Alpha is later. So how do you prepare for Gen Z and Gen millennials? How is how are the millennials preparing for the world to take over? How are you preparing to hand over the baton, in such a way that they carry it, more efficiently than your generation?
Such a lovely question. Thank you so much, Narendra.
I would have talked about how we handed it over to the millennials, but that's a long story. I'll like to mention one point on that, but later after you answer my first question.
The thing is that your generation did not. So I'll tell you what your generation did not do, and then I'll tell you what your generation really did, which was the best amongst all the generations that we have ever seen. Okay, your generation had the least technological transformation. Your generation had the least startup culture, because you were looking for job and you gave 30-40 years in the same business, the entire generation did. But what your generation really did is gave good education, foundation, and very good support to our technological needs when we required them. That entire cocoon of efforts that were taken of your generation, let that not be like people say that the first time men kept foot on moon was 1969, and Russians went in 1972, and later on there was no technological innovation. I agree, there was no technological revolution that happened in that generation, but one thing that the generation did is that made the life so stable, so that our generation could really learn a lot and get a lot of knowledge. So you guys, what you guys really did is that gave a stable life for us. Okay, that's 100%. And that no one could take from the entire baby boomer generation. No one can take it from them, because stable life is what was needed so that this generation can really grow. Later on, what happened with that is, with the AI, with the machine learning, with the automation going on, we sort of automated a lot of stuff and we removed a lot of people from jobs, creating new opportunities and new job in new fields. The next generation will be more acceptable in terms of not just technology, but they will already have all the inherent well-being that we develop through the conversation and through economic stableness that we created. So most of them in the coming 20 years time would be unemployed with whatever businesses or jobs that they are doing. But there would be a sense of fulfillment, spirituality, and the time of revolution has begun, where more than work that I do for others, what I enjoy doing would be appreciated and would be followed by the next generation. And the entire foundation of Generation X and baby bloomers till the millennial, we have the effort of making sure that they work less and reap more results in terms of what we did, and influence themselves as a generation of not the worker and the blue collar people, but a people who are more creatively connected to what they really want to do and to like to do with. So that is the foundation that we built, Narendra.
Well, I mean, I would have loved, but time is short, and I'm just fearing that Shivani is going to tell me to stop because time is over. But I would like to talk to you on a personal level sometime, where I can tell you, that I want to add to what you have already a wealth of knowledge, but about baby boomers or the boomers. There is more, because I belong to a background where my brother was into IIT, and that also IIT Kanpur in the year 1970. So I was studying in the Kendriya Vidyalaya there. So we saw the first computers there. So it's not that the base was built. I mean, what you're talking about, that is not the
Your
thing that
voice,
started.
I'm so sorry, your voice is breaking. Shivani, ma'am, is that something that only I am facing? His voice is breaking, right? So I cannot hear
Yeah,
the
it's for me as well. For me
uh,
as well. Maybe some internet issue.
yeah.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, now it's clear.
Yeah.
Now it's
So
fantastic.
what I'm saying is that I belong to a background where my elder brother had entered into IIT Kanpur in 1970, and I was studying in the Kendriya Vidyalaya at that time,
Yeah.
right? So we had seen the first, the mainframe computers and all, and floppy was not the first thing. Your generation saw for the first time when you were born. you saw the screens and everything, right?
Yeah.
But in 1970, the mainframe computer, they were all about computer cards and computer sheets.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
they were writing programs where they did not have a screen in front of them.
Absolutely.
And loads of paper used to get used for writing a single program. So,
Absolutely.
the base which was built during those times.
Yes.
Otherwise, I mean, I'm sorry, we would not have reached, Microsoft would not have come into existence in the 90s. So,
Correct. Correct. Absolutely right.
The base was built at that time. And
100%.
people, when I tell people that there was an airstrip in IIT Kanpur where they used to fly this thing, gliders without an engine. So
Yeah.
people don't believe it, that how can a plane fly without an engine? But I saw it in 1969 and 70. So,
Lovely.
I mean, this knowledge, what you want to give to the next generation, that you see, we started with a floppy. I would love to add to that what was happening in the 60s, and that actually built a base for the floppy. I mean, so on a personal level, I would really love to get in touch. My voice is clear or not?
Yeah, Narendra, absolutely. But okay. So now I'm going to add something that you said. Okay, Narendra, you were one of the very privileged people to witness that. You know, lot of people in your generation did not witness what you witnessed in terms of technology, because obviously your brother was from IIT, and I myself, at my early days, I worked for IIT Powai for a very, very, very long time. But there were very few people who were introduced to the mainframe, the things that you were saying about. I'm not trying to compare, but cyber cafes were not common before 90s. That's the entire, because cyber cafes went common when actually the floppy disk and the video games happened. And that's where it started reaching the masses. So when I'm saying that, evolution from this to this, I'm really saying, I was not telling about the mainframe. Obviously, technology is huge. I mean, if you can date behind like Ramayana and Mahabharata, and the kind of stuff that they did, slowly and steadily evolving to what we are doing today, and that's all true. I mean, I completely agree with you. But how much percentage of people really had access to the mainframe computer at that time, which was very, very privileged and very small and very enthusiastic people like you, very upcoming, in this time we call early adopters, right? Early adopters, people who know this is coming and they want to be a part of that first. Like day before yesterday, when Google launched Gemini as the platform of AI, which was a competitor to ChatGPT, but I don't think so it is a competitor to ChatGPT, because Gemini is very intelligent than what ChatGPT could ever be. But the point comes that how many people are early adopters there? Because I only saw out of the 3 billion users in the entire world of internet, I only saw 100,000 people with me, really logging in and really testing the Gemini platform. There are very few people, Narendra, like us, like you, who are early adopters and have privilege and are lucky to be at the right spot at the right time, and witnessing that mainframe. But do you think that a lot of people witness the mainframe? The answer is no. But when I talk about floppy, lot of masses in my generation got access to floppies, got access to cyber cafes, got access to introduction to computers in their early 4th, 5th standard, schooling life. Because I presume in my school was a very, I was privileged because my parents put me in a very advanced school. And in my school, was the first batch that ever had computers in the 4th standard itself. So if my batch was first, what were the earlier batch doing? My question was. but something like that. So I was talking about from a masses perspective, we were introduced at a very larger scale, is what my point was. And lucky people like you, and I would love to connect with you, offline, online, wherever you're comfortable.
Definitely.
Because I really want to dig deep and understand, the mainframe logic of algorithms and stuff.
Yeah. Okay, is my voice clear?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, we will definitely connect. I'll take your number from Shivani, and what I mean, my main the idea behind putting this question was that how are we preparing for the new generation? That is very, very important actually, because they have been born at a time when they have they have a belief that there was not any fault for the electronic.
Your voice is breaking.
No, Narenji, your voice is cracking, and I would like to conclude this session because I'm running short of time. I have another session at 9:30, so I need to reach somewhere.
Yeah.
So please
thank you.
bear it with me today. We are already running 1 hour ahead of our usual time. Thank you, Kunalji, for...
We really got this more interesting that people hung around for another 60 minutes.
Yeah. So usually, sometimes it goes like for 15 or 30 minutes extra. But today, as we started late...
I'm inviting you. Please connect with me on LinkedIn. We will be doing a LinkedIn live only on this, where we will be talking about our both generations, and we will make sure that we will entertain everyone.
Yeah, that would be great. So taking it offline from Zoom to the LinkedIn, that is
thank you so much.
And thank you everyone for attending today. Next week we will be having Seema Ranawari. If I'm pronouncing correctly, she will be talking about money aspects and money mindset. So stay tuned, and we'll connect on next Saturday. Kunalji, thank you so much for sparing your precious morning time with us and having such a lovely, insightful session for our audience. Definitely, we'll love to have another session. Sorry. Yeah. Just give me a moment.
Yeah, sure. No problem. Thank you so much, guys. Please take care.
Hello, my voice is audible?
Yeah, your voice is audible. No
Thank
problem.
You so much. Actually, my Bluetooth just dropped off.
No problem.
Yeah. Thank you so much, and we will definitely Yeah, sir.
I said thank you to Kunaal. I cannot start my video now. I'm with my grandson. That's all.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sure, sir.
Thank you so much. Please take care,
Thank
and
you,
God bless everyone. And many happy New Year. I don't know whether I'm going to speak to you guys in the next coming days or no. Happy New Year. 2024 is going to be a super awesome year for everyone. God bless.
Thank you so much. And we will definitely like to have you in the new year, another session on presentation skills.
Lovely. Thank you so much. Please take care.
Thank you so much, everyone, for joining in today and being a great listener. Let's meet next Saturday. Thank you.